Hello, my name is Kyle. I'm a licensed technician. I work at Aire 1, and right now we're going to go through furnace maintenance, cleaning, and safety check. We want to inspect the venting first. On older furnaces, you might see a black pipe, and the black ABS pipe. Now that's okay if it's existing, but if you end up touching or changing anything on the furnace, you got to change that pipe as well. The reason they changed that venting to white instead of black is because the black one tends to crack. This one has the rating, system 636, and it's rated for the heat the furnace puts out. The old black pipe you might see on older furnaces are not rated, and they tend to crack or leak on the water heater and the furnace. One of the more important ones you might be able to do yourself is the drain. You always want to keep the drain nice and clear. This one you can't see through it, but most of the time you can see through it. But you could pour vinegar down them, or you could blow through it. Humidifier. Here's the control up here, and most people have set it around 35, and you leave it there. When you want to change it, you change it about once a year, beginning of the heating season, because it shouldn't be running in the summer, because in the summer you're actually dehumidifying. Now when you want to change this one, this is an older model of an Aire. You take that out, slides out like this, and this thing just pops right off. And when you change it, there's a color on top, no color on the bottom. No color on the bottom. Now this one should be about to change. You can see all the calcium start to build up on there. And that goes back in there. Pops in. Hose goes back. Now this one has a damper right here. It's that little screw. It's either open or closed. Closed in the summer and open in the winter. Most of them have the lever here. It goes winter, summer. This one is actually leaking. That's why it's always important to have annual maintenance on your furnace and your humidifier, and they do all the filters at the same time. So this one, when you turned on the water, it comes on, but then when you turned it off, it would keep running. So you got to replace that solenoid. Well, for now, we just shut off the water until it gets repaired or replaced. And if you follow that copper line back, here it comes. Water comes from here. It comes in on your hot or your cold, depending on where they put it in. Right now we got it off. Every furnace has a filter, and it's important to keep your filter clean so you keep the furnace clean, and you don't dirty up the furnace, dirty up the coil, and dirty up your AC coil as well. Now when you change it, every furnace filter is going to have an airflow on it. It points towards the furnace. So if the furnace is here, it points that way. It's always nice to have a couple arrows. You write it down once, and then you just pretty much just matching arrows from there on. Now this furnace has another return on this side, another filter. Check that one out, and this arrow's pointing the other way because you're on the other side of the furnace. So we'll take it out, just check it, and for these ones, change them beginning of every season or every 6 months. Slide that back in there. Arrow's pointing towards the furnace, and that clips back on. It's all about the MERV rating. The higher the MERV rating is, the better. Most houses all accept around 11 MERV rating. They go up to 16, but when you go to 16, you got to make sure your furnace can handle it. You got to make sure the ductwork is sized right for the filter. If the ductwork isn't sized right for the MERV 16 filter, then your furnace might overheat and you might have some problems. But the MERV 11, you're always going to be good for the most part. Call Aire 1 at 310 heat, and we'll ship them all over to you. Free shipping when you get 3. The main checks are the safety check. That one I usually do first. It's outside on the exhaust, and right now you're checking for a CO. Make sure it's within the manufacturer's rating specifications. Always below 100 for the most part. Now when you get in here, the main things you want to check, you want to make sure the inducer motor is not running too hot or anything like that. This one's nice and cool. And then you want to check the gas pressure, make sure it's not overfiring. Because if the furnace is overfiring, you're going to create soot inside the pipes and inside the heat exchanger. Rust it out, block it up. Now when the furnace is off, you want to clean that sensor in the back. Now I'm not going to do it now, but inside, down here in this lower compartment, is the big blower that moves air through the house. Now sometimes that requires an adjustment in speed. All furnaces come in different sizes and the blowers can vary in speed sometimes. Sometimes you have to adjust it for cooling speed, sometimes you have to adjust it for heating speed. Also, you got to check these little pressure switches. These pressure switches are a safety, make sure there's no clog in the vents. We just finished up on the furnace maintenance, cleaning, and safety check. And if you have any problems or questions, give us a call at 310 HEAT. We're always ready over at Aire 1, and we look forward to seeing you.